So today I just want to share with you the 10 reasons why I personally embraced minimalism and how I'm still learning 2 years on and how this has really contributed to my own self-development. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. As always, thank you so much for watching. So as I said, I wanted to share with you today the 10 reasons why I embraced minimalism and how this has helped me. I think that everybody's definition of minimalism is different. I think everybody's perception of where you should be on the scale or what constitutes as extreme minimalism, I think that's different for everybody. So I really just wanted to do this video on my personal experience and how, like I say, this has helped my own self-development and the reasons why I researched it and started embracing this new type of lifestyle. So let's just get straight into it. Okay, so my initial reason was quite simply that mess and clutter actually causes me stress and anxiety. So that was a big enough reason to begin with. When I first started researching kind of a healthier way of living, you know, minimalism came up as obviously the kind of first thing that you would assume from minimalism is it's to do with decluttering. So yeah, I'm just going to say that my first reason right back at the very beginning would have just simply been that mess and clutter causes me stress. So I didn't want that anxiety in my life and I wanted to find a way to resolve it. I'd say that my second reason would be that minimalism has allowed me to focus more on meaningful experiences rather than things. So minimalism is all about living with less and, you know, also learning to not need to acquire more things that you don't actually need. And in turn, I feel that for me in particular, this has enabled me to kind of take stock of what's already around us, so already available to us. I mentioned this just in a previous video that I just did with regards to real actual ways to save money, was about prioritizing experiences over buying things or consuming or spending money. So yeah, this kind of ties into that. So yeah, I'd say my second reason is that it has enabled me to appreciate and value meaningful experiences over just acquiring general stuff or material things. Number 3 is a little bit of a kind of snowball effect from minimalism, really, but it just actually automatically, I would personally say, allows me to travel lighter, and also when it comes to moving house, it's just less stressful because by default minimalism, you know, like I say, is about acquiring less things and learning to live with what you already own or making do with what you already have, and, you know, really kind of finding contentment in what's already around you rather than needing to go and bring something new into your life, acquire something new, if that makes sense. So yeah, it just automatically makes traveling lighter because you own less things and you don't rely so much on as much stuff. And yeah, when you move house, you're not going to need such a big removal van, or, you know, it's just not so many boxes. And then also when it comes to unpacking all this stuff, I think personally, when I recently moved, I discovered that I had things that I'd completely forgotten about. And that just was a real indicator to me that, you know, if you actually forget that you own something and then when you come to move house, you're just taking all of those things with you each time, then, you know, there obviously isn't a need for them unless they have a sentimental value, you know, or they actually serve a purpose. It kind of just is quite a good indicator when you move house with just from one house to another with things that you had forgotten that you own, that you obviously don't really need those things. So yeah, traveling lighter and making house moves less stressful. So I think my fourth motivation kind of does tie back into my point number 1, which would be that minimalism allows my living space to feel clearer. And, you know, it just gives me a more peaceful, less busy kind of home, I guess. You know, it's the place that you come home to potentially reflect or after work, or, you know, it's a sanctuary where, you know, you don't want to feel over-cluttered visually, and this in turn has, I think, an effect mentally. You know, it just gives you a clearer space to come home and breathe in. Okay, so number 5, I think really I should have probably put at the beginning because it's actually one of the biggest reasons why I personally embraced minimalism, and that was for the emotional and mental declutter side of things. So when I was researching minimalism, I think around 2.5 years ago, I was going through some really difficult life events at the time. I've briefly touched upon one of these in a previous video, which was about my mum passing away. So when I started researching kind of, I guess, self-help and ways to maybe alter your lifestyle to be able to cope with things better, minimalism automatically I think is perceived as just the kind of material side of things, but actually it also encompasses the emotional, mental declutter, and the act of kind of owning less things and being responsible for less material stuff actually allows for, like I say, emotional and mental declutter. So this was one of the biggest reasons for me personally. It has also helped me to appreciate the things that I already own more. So as my number 6, I'm just going to say that it basically allows you to value the things that you already own more, because you are bringing less into your life. And so maybe the things that you'd forgotten about, or, you know, the things that were underneath a load of clutter in say your wardrobe, for example, you actually learn to value those things more. And that kind of ties back into the previous point that I just mentioned about emotional declutter. This is also a way of actually looking at what's underneath. So both materialistically, yeah. So both in the material sense and both in the mental sense. It just allows you to appreciate what you already own, basically. So to tie numbers 7 and 8 in together, I've got my notes here to refer to. I would say that it's allowed me to feel more liberated, and I really wanted to be more aware and more mindful. And through my research of minimalism, I realized that just by kind of cutting down the things that you acquired and the things that were cluttering your home, it allowed for more breathing space. So yeah, 7 and 8, I'm going to try and kind of tie in together. I feel that it has enabled me to feel lighter, and it's also channeled my energy or directed it to, you know, elsewhere, to healthier things, basically. So I'd say that my 9th reason would be that minimalism actually encourages better spending habits and also saving. So I've mentioned in lots of previous videos, obviously one of the biggest things that I'm passionate about is frugal or thrifty living. So yeah, I don't feel that I really had any bad spending habits prior to minimalism, but I do believe that we all have the ability to learn and to progress, and it is, you know, life is just one great big lesson that just keeps carrying on. So yeah, I'd say that number 9, you know, I think for anybody, it's minimalism is really good at encouraging better spending habits and also encouraging saving. And finally, to round this video off at number 10, I would say that just generally minimalism has allowed me to consume less material things and focus on perhaps what was being masked underneath internally. I believe personally that less choice, so the decisions of purchasing more things and acquiring more things and feeling that you need to have more stuff that, you know, society tells you that you need, actually just creates more indecision, and then in turn, I believe, you know, more anxiety. Whereas by learning to live with less and really looking at what's going on underneath this, I guess, acquirement of things. I know I keep repeating that sentence, but it's really, for me personally, what it encompasses the most. It enabled me to really look at what was going on underneath that and what maybe I was masking, if that makes sense. So there you have it. There were my 10 reasons for minimalism. I'm still kind of getting used to filming and being on camera, so I'm sorry if sometimes I do hesitate and maybe I still sound like I'm a little bit shy, but I hope the content in itself and, you know, the message that I was trying to get across to you was helpful. So yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. You know, it really helps me to grow my confidence and also grow my channel in a way that I can share with you more things that I'm passionate about. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Please click that like button if you found this video helpful, and also don't forget to subscribe. I've also started a new Facebook page, Red Curl Vegan, just for kind of smaller everyday things that aren't really big enough to make a video with. And so yeah, head over to Facebook and check that out if you like. Take care and stay safe. See you next time.